Okay, so to add lighting, what I'm going to do is let's go to a darker scene. So we're going to go to an evening scene here. There we go. And now let's go to objects, and we're going to go to lights, and we're going to start with a placement of we'll go over here to our Omni Light, and we'll go ahead and place that here. Actually, what I'm going to do as well is going to click here, and I'm going to move this to a different layer. So let's put this on layer 2. So all our lighting is going to be on layer 2. And here, I believe I can make that the active layer by clicking here as well. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to add brightness to it, and let's add a bit of a orange yellowish tone to it. And I'm going to go ahead and place these on the front of each of these, and I'm going to move them. So this is not where they're going to stay. This is just how I'm going to get started. And let's keep going around. Okay, so now I'm going to hold control and select all of these. I'm going to kind of move around here in my model, and then I'm going to hold shift and push these into my model. So now if we look, now it's looking like they're inside and not outside, and I could change the fall off amount so that they're not so that the color doesn't spread too far. So that's not a bad color. I could adjust the color more if I wanted to, but that doesn't look too bad to me. You can adjust the brightness, so not too bad. And so right here, I'm going to have to add one a little bit further. So let's deselect. Let's click here. Let's zoom in. And I'm going to make a copy of this. To do that, it's already selected. So I'm going to hit, it's alternate to make a copy. And it's just bringing it down. And I need to move it up because I think I dropped it. Yep, it connected to the surface there. And there we go. So let's zoom back out. So now it looks better. It looks a little bit more of a uniform brightness inside. Then here I need to move these differently. So let's zoom over here. I'm going to hold down shift, make sure I'm in this move free, hold down shift, and we're going to move around here. Model update. So I'm interrupting this Lumion lesson because during this project I had to go back to the original SketchUp model and redesign some things. So as happens in the real life when you're working on a real project, you're going to make changes. So I'm going to really quickly go over some of those changes, and then we're going to come back to Lumion and finish our rendering. So let's go back to SketchUp real quick, update our model, and bring it back into Lumion. So the first change I did here was to get rid of the elliptical and replace it with a regular 3x8 window, which is actually a door that you can open up to a courtyard that we're going to add as well. And here I added a pergola that I actually grabbed from another project of mine, and we are going to put it in front of our doors that we have now that are coming out of what's going to be the study into a courtyard. And here we are creating some courtyard walls that will kind of enclose the space in front of our study, where we will also be able to put some furniture in as well. And I also added a crown piece or a little cap on this courtyard wall as well, and I just grabbed that from our other landscape wall that we have on the right of the house. So I just grabbed that profile and I'm bringing it onto the new landscape wall or the courtyard wall, and I'm going to use the follow me tool to go ahead and wrap this profile around this wall. And another change we are making here is we are adding a bump out on this second floor window. So I'm just drawing a line offset a foot on each side, and then I'm pushing out this whole window area 1 foot, and we're also going to put some corbels under it as well. So now I'm creating another division in our windows and doors. So I'm just creating a group and adding a vertical element to our grid, And because some of these are components, once I change it to one, it's going to change it to several of the other ones. So just one of the advantages of creating components. And the last update I'm going to do is replace the traditional lantern that we had in our front entry with a more modern looking one. And I'm just going to grab that from a file that I have and place that in our model. Okay, let's update this model with our new updated design. Okay, so now that we have our updated design, we are going to continue to edit some of the materials and add in some furniture to make it look a bit more realistic. So here we have our modern lights here. So let's go ahead and make some glass out of this. And that'll work. And then, a second to think. All right, so we're going to make this an emissive object. So I'm going to go over here to emissive and kind of give it a little bit of a yellow orange hue to it. Okay. Now one thing I'm going to do as well, first I got to move some of these. I'm going to add some uplights to this, but first let's move some of this vegetation out of the way. Let's go to objects, nature, and we'll move some of these out here. And we'll just delete those. And we'll actually move some of these hedges out to the outside over here. And actually put some right there too. All right, so let's add some effects to this wood as well. Add a little bit of weathering to it under wood. All right, and make sure we have everything there selected. Okay, and here we have some vegetation. So what I could do here is I can go to outdoor, I believe, or where is it at? Leaves. Here we go. So we can actually make this into a real leaf texture. We can change the leaf size, make them quite a bit smaller. And I actually selected the wrong thing. I think it's selecting all my things. Let's cancel that. All right, let's try this again. There we go. And we're going to various. We'll try leaves. Let's try it again. All right. See if we change the size of it. Make them pretty small. All right, that might work. Okay, so let's continue adding lights. So we're going to go to this Omni Light, and I'm going to add some lights to our lanterns here. And we are going to select it, and we're going to make this fall off quite a bit on these. So we don't want them to spread out too much. Maybe change the brightness of it. Don't need them to be too overpowering. And we have some over here now. So let's go ahead and copy these over there. And we need some vegetation out here too. So let's grab some of these. And we'll add this little hedgerow. All right, now let's go ahead and wrap this around the corner. Okay, so now I want to add some uplighting to it just to add a little bit more of a dramatic effect to the house. So let's go to spotlights, and we will try, let's try with this one. And let's start over here. We'll start on this side. We'll rotate it upwards. Let's go ahead and place it closer to the house. And something there is blocking it. That's kind of strange. Not sure what that is. Let's see if we brighten it up. Yeah, something's acting a bit weird there. So we have to put it about there. All right, so we can change the tone of it. Maybe the amount of brightness on it. Cone angle. So actually, I'm not really liking this one, so let's try something a little bit more narrow that shoots more vertical. Let's try this one. Let's go ahead and rotate it upwards. And it's still kind of causing that same issue there, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe place it up here. About there. We don't want it to be too bright. So that is a strange phenomenon that's happening there. I'm not sure why that's happening. I don't know if I like that one there. Let's come around here. Okay, let's add a light above here. Alrighty. Now in this next part, which I'm going to speed up for you, I'm going to be inserting furniture into our visible rooms that you're going to see from the windows, just to give the house a little bit more depth. And the majority of these models, they're not from Lumion's library, which Lumion does have some, but the majority of these models are from SketchUp files that I have inserted into Lumion. So these are all SketchUp models that you can bring in Lumion. So I'm going to put in pictures and tables and just furniture, just to give it a little bit more depth in our rendering. So now let's prepare our render scene. So I'm going to go over here to this camera icon and go to our render settings. And the first thing I'm going to start messing with is the camera lens angle to get the view that I want. Next thing I'm going to do is to start adding effects. So the first effect I'm going to add is the real sky effect. And I'm going to go over here to the clear sky options and going to select this one, and then I'm going to adjust the heading of the sun to get kind of the shadow view that I want. I could also adjust the brightness of the sky and the overall brightness to also get the desired look. And I'm not liking it so far, so I'm going to go and try another real sky, and I'm going to go to some of the cloudy looks and see how that works. And I think that works better, so I'm just going to adjust some of the brightness and overall brightness settings, maybe move this sun heading a little bit, and then I'm going to mess around with this positioning of the camera, and once I like it, I'm just going to click this camera icon here to save that specific view. Now I'm going to add several other effects that I think will enhance this render scene. The first one I'm going to select is the sharpen effect, and then also the color correction. And then in the advanced category, I'm going to add the shadows effect and also the reflection effect. And the reflection effect, I'm going to apply that effect to the sidewalk and the driveway. And another effect I'm going to add is the global illumination effect. That will just brighten up some of the shadows in the scene. Now I'm going to open up the shadow effect and adjust some of the levels. The next thing I'm going to adjust is the global illumination levels. And now let's adjust some of the color correction levels. And now once we have our colors and all our levels how we want them, let's go ahead and save our rendered scene. And this is what our final rendering looks like. And that completes this course. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you can, please leave a review and let me know what you thought. And I will see you in the next lesson. Thanks.